Nanda, Jai Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhatta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Would someone like to read?
I can read.
Please, thank you.
Lord Chaitanya then asked Rāmānanda Rāya, out of many so-called liberated souls, who is actually liberated? Rāmānanda replied that one who is completely saturated with devotional love for Radha and Krishna is to be considered the best of all liberated persons. Similarly, it is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 6.14.5 that a devotee of Narayan is so rare that only one can be found among millions and millions of liberated people.
So we read this yesterday. Rāmānanda, Lord Chaitanya is saying, who is actually liberated? Who is actually liberated? Krishna is saying that Samahatma Sudurlabha, Bhunam Janmanam Ante. He says in Bhagavad Gita that one who surrenders to Krishna. And here Rāmānanda Rāya is saying one who has developed his love for Radha and Krishna is the best of all liberated persons. So there are thousands of people who are striving for liberation, out of which one may actually be liberated. Out of thousands of souls who are actually liberated, one may begin devotional service. But out of thousands of such, one who has developed love for Radha Krishna is the best of all.
And out of all songs, what song do you think is the best? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked. Ramanand replied that any song which describes the pastimes of Radha and Krishna is the best song. The conditioned soul is captivated by sex. All literary works of fiction, dramas, novels, and so on describe love between men and women. Since people are so attracted to this kind of literature, Krishna appeared in this material world and displayed his transcendental loving affair with the gopis. There is an immense literature dealing with the loving exchanges between the gopis and Krishna, and anyone who takes shelter of this literature or of the stories about Radha and Krishna can enjoy actual happiness. In Srimad Bhagavatam 10.33.36, it is said that the Lord displayed his pastimes in Vrindavan in order to reveal his actual life. Any intelligent person who tries to understand the pastimes of Radha and Krishna is most fortunate. The songs that tell of those pastimes are the greatest songs in the world.
So Lord Chaitanya has been asking him, no, what's the most valuable thing? So many questions Lord Chaitanya is putting, and what is the most suffering? And Rāmānanda Rāya has been answering, and now he's asking what is the best song? And Rāmānanda Rāya is saying the songs which are describing pastimes of Radha and Krishna. But also we understand that Krishna's pastimes with the Brajvasis are described in Bhagavatam, Canto 10. This is what Krishna is showing, what he does actually in Golok Vrindavan, which is the highest spiritual planet in the spiritual sky. He's showing, this is what I do, come and join me. It's like before we see a movie, we want to see the preview, what the movie shows about. So Krishna came to show us this. Now, to properly be able to understand these pastimes, we need to hear Bhagavatam from the first canto. Because if we just jump to the 10th canto, we will not be able to understand Krishna's position. And then we may misunderstand Krishna's pastimes. And so that's the reason always the pure devotees, Srila Prabhupada would always stress, hear Bhagavatam from the first canto, especially the first 3 cantos which speak about the position of Krishna, our position in this material world, the position of this material energy, how the creation is happening. Now, one may say, oh, but I'm spiritual. Why do I need to understand what this material world, what is this material creation? No, I don't need to understand this. I just need to understand Radha Krishna. But we are on the material platform. Our minds are material. Our experiences are all material. Only if we can understand Krishna's relationship with the material energy and our relationship, what we are doing here, then we will be able to properly understand Krishna's pastimes with the Brajvasis. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Chaitanya
So
then
continue.
inquired. Lord Chaitanya then inquired, what is the most profitable thing in the world, the essence of all auspicious events? Ramanand Rai replied that there is nothing as profitable as the association of pure devotees. And
What would we say? What's the most profitable thing? Imagine what would we say? What's the most profitable thing in the world? We may each of us have different ideas. Rāmānanda Rai is saying nothing is as profitable as association of pure devotees. Why? Because in the association of pure devotees, we can hear and chant Krishna's pastimes. We can revive our eternal loving relationship with Krishna. We can revive our original Krishna consciousness. So this is why it said nothing is as profitable. Because otherwise we'll go on in our business of one life to another, thinking we are the body, birth, death, old age, and disease. In the association of pure devotees, we understand that we have an eternal loving relationship with Krishna. We need to go back home. We need to revive this relationship. That's why he's saying nothing is as profitable as the association of pure devotees. Caitanya Caritamita says, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra kahe, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi hai. That Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, moment's association with the pure devotee, Sarva Siddhi hai, can give us all perfection. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra kahe. All the Shastras are saying this. So important is the association of the pure devotee.
yeah, this is so true, right, Shilpa? I mean, I don't know. I'm sure that most of us, when now we are reading that Prithu Maharaj, um, story 3 times already. This is the third time. It's shifting our way, and I mean the values reviving, and so many realizations, right?
Yes, thank you. Yes. Yeah, we are hearing from pure devotees. We are hearing from Sukadev Goswami. We are hearing from Srila Prabhupada. So there's nothing as profitable as the association of pure devotees. Thank you so much for that. Thank you.
Lord Chaitanya, and what do you recommend a person should think of? Lord Chaitanya asked. Ramanand replied that one should always think of the pastimes of Krishna. This is Krishna consciousness. Krishna has multiple activities, and they are described in many Vedic scriptures. One should always think of those pastimes. That is the best meditation and the highest ecstasy. In Srimad Bhagavatam 2.2.36, Sukadev Goswami confirms that one should always think of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Indeed, one should not only think of him, but also hear and chant his name, fame, and glories.
So our mind, I don't know if you'll have noticed, but we're always thinking of something. They're always thoughts, random thoughts. Can't control. And then Lord Chaitanya is asking, what shall we think of? I mean, have we ever thought what should we actually be thinking of? We think of things, but do we consider what should I be thinking of? And here Rāmānanda Rai is saying, think of the pastimes of Lord Krishna. Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita, who knows that verse? What does he say about thinking of him? Which verse is that? I know you all memorized that verse. Anyone? You all were saying you all have memorized that. Manmana bhava madbhakto. Krishna says, engage your mind in always thinking of me. Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita what we have to do. Engage your mind in always thinking of me, he says. And then how can we come to think of Krishna? Because our mind is so infatuated by so many different things. We're always going to think of someone that we care about or we love. Always our mind will go to that. We like to do something, we'll be thinking of that. So how do we make the shift? Now, how can we begin to think of Krishna? Lord Chaitanya gave us this easy process. right? Chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. When we chant the Hare Krishna mantra, then we will be engaged. We will be able to think of Krishna. So we need to hear and chant, hear and chant. The more we hear, the more we chant, the more we will be able to think of Krishna.
And what is the best type of meditation? Lord Chaitanya inquired. He who always meditates on the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna is the best meditator. Rāmānanda Rāya answered. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.14. It is the Supreme Personality of Godhead alone, He who is the master of all devotees, whose name one should always chant, and who should always be meditated upon and worshipped regularly.
So, we can see how Rāmānanda Rai, he's not speaking from his own mind. He's always giving the answers based on Bhagavatam, based on the scriptures. He's quoting, he's giving evidence that why is he giving these answers? He's regularly quoting Bhagavatam. So what shall we meditate on? That's a very important question, because sometimes people tell us you can meditate on anything, you can meditate on light, or you can meditate on nothing, or you can meditate on any form. But what is the Bhagavatam saying? We should always meditate on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So meditating on the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna, that is the best meditation. The lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. And how will we be able to meditate on the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna? We need to hear and we need to chant. Hear from Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, chant the Hare Krishna mantra, and then we will be able to do this.
Where should a person live, giving up all other places? Lord Chaitanya next inquired. Rāmānanda replied that one should give up all other places and live in Vrindavan, where Lord Krishna had so many pastimes. In Srimad Bhagavatam 10.47.61, Uddhava says that it is best to live in Vrindavan, even as a plant or creeper. It was in Vrindavan that Supreme Lord lived, and it was there that gopis worshipped him, the ultimate goal of all Vedic knowledge.
So living in Vrindavan, for some, it may be possible to physically live in Vrindavan, but for some, it may not be. So then what to do? But we also heard Rāmānanda Rai say that the pure devotees, he's always thinking of Krishna. And so he's always in Vrindavan. He never leaves Vrindavan. So whenever one is thinking of Krishna, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's names are being chanted, Krishna Katha is going on, that is Vrindavan. Where Krishna's pure devotees are there. That is Vrindavan. So,
and what is the best subject to hear of? Caitanya Mahaprabhu next asked. The pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Rāmānanda replied. Actually, when the pastimes of Radha and Krishna are heard from the right source, one at once attains liberation. Unfortunately, sometimes people are misguided because they do not hear these pastimes from a realized soul. It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 10.33.39 that one who hears the pastimes of Krishna with the gopis will attain the highest platform of devotional service and be freed from the material lust, which overwhelms everyone's heart in material world. In other words, the actual result of hearing the pastimes of Radha and Krishna is to get rid of all material lust. One who does not become freed from the material lust in this way should not indulge in hearing of the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Unless we hear from the right source, we will misinterpret the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, and they are ordinary affairs between a man and a woman. In this way, we shall
think. I'm sorry, maybe I didn't hear it. But we will misinterpret the pastimes of Radha and Krishna and think.
Yeah, sorry.
Maybe I didn't hear that. Yeah.
We will misinterpret unless we hear from the right source. we will misinterpret the pastimes of Radha and Krishna and think they are ordinary affairs between a man and a woman. In this way, we shall be misguided.
So this is an important point because, yes, Lord Chaitanya is asking what is the best subject to hear. We always like to hear what this one did, what did that one do, what he said, what she said. It's natural. It's there in us. We're all going to do it. Now, what is the best one to do? What's the best pastimes? That is to hear about Radha and Krishna. But also it is important to understand who are we hearing the pastimes of Radha and Krishna from? It's very important that we hear from the right sources, from the authorities who actually understand the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Because if one has not understood the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, then because one is misguided, then when one speaks, then the other will be misguided. So it is very important to hear from the right source. And when correctly heard, one can get liberation because it frees us of our material lust. Each of us has this material lust. This is what is keeping us here in the material world. But when we are hearing the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, this lust, in fact, goes away. Now, one may say, how can be hearing about loving affairs between man and woman and lust goes away, it should increase. But then again, it comes to understand the position of Radha and Krishna. Who are Radha and Krishna? And this is why it's so important to hear from the right source. This is the reason why it's important to hear Bhagavatam from the first canto and not jump to the 10th canto, because there are so many professional speakers who will have readings of Bhagavatam but only speak of the 10th canto. But that's not the way to read Bhagavatam. We need to hear from the first canto, and then we will be able to really get really the benefit of hearing the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Otherwise, we will misinterpret it, we will misunderstand it. And when once heard from the right source, then we can attain devotional service. So hearing about ordinary people, it increases the lust in our heart. But hearing about Radha and Krishna, it purifies our heart. Because one may say, oh, well, this happened 5,000 years ago. Why should I hear about Krishna and Radharani's pastimes? It's like mundane affairs of a young boy and a girl. Why should I be interested to hear that? But again, it comes to understand that we need to, again, it brings to notice the importance of understanding the position of Radha and Krishna. And then we will be able to understand the position of hearing the pastime, because it is bringing us to liberation. It is not, it's in fact disentangling us. It's freeing us from this material world. When we are hearing ordinary pastime, it's entangling us more in the world. But hearing about Radha and Krishna, it disentangles us. This is the reason we need to hear the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, but from the pure devotee. From the pure devotee, and read Bhagavatam from the first canto. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Who is the most worshipable deity? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu next inquired. Rāmānanda Rāya immediately replied that transcendental couple, Sri Radha and Krishna, is the ultimate object of worship. There are many worshipable objects. For example, the impersonalists worship the Brahma Jyoti, but by such worship, one becomes bereft of life symptoms and becomes just like a tree or other non-moving living entity. Those who worship the so-called void also attain such results. Those who are after material enjoyment, bhakti, worship the demigods and achieve their planets and thus enjoy material happiness. Lord Chaitanya next inquired about those who are after material happiness and those who are after liberation from material bondage. Where do they ultimately go? He asked Rāmānanda Rāya. Rāmānanda Rāya replied that those who aspire for liberation ultimately turn into trees, and that the others attain to heavenly planets, where they enjoy the material happiness.
So the most worshipable deity, we're always worshipping someone, That is a natural inclination. We may worship a demigod, or we may even worship a great personality of the material world, whoever we get, we feel that, oh, this is such a great personality. So it is a natural tendency in us to worship. But worship is for Radha and Krishna. Radha and Krishna are the most worshipable. They are referred to as transcendental couple. It's not a couple of the ordinary world, as we say, Mr. and Mrs. so and so. No, Radha and Krishna are on the transcendental platform. So the pastimes are also on the transcendental platform. So here, Prabhupada is pointing out that for the impersonalists worship the Brahmajyoti. But then, because the Brahmajyoti Brahman, there is no variety, there's nothing there. There's nothing. So that's why then gradually they become trees, because the idea is to do nothing. And this is what here below said, that when Lord Chaitanya is saying, what happens to them after liberation? Ultimately, gradually, they just come to that platform. And those who are worshipping the demigods, material enjoyment, where will they go? Well, they will go to the planet of the demigods. Krishna says that whoever we worship, we are going to go there. If we worship the demigods, we will go to the planet of demigods to enjoy the material benefits of that planet. Like somebody is living in India, but they think, okay, I want to go to America because the standard of living is higher there. I can enjoy more there. Then he'll go to America and he'll live there, America. So similarly, one goes from the earth planet to the heavenly planets, and one can go and enjoy more there. But we have to understand that even these heavenly planets, our time there is temporary, and also there is birth, death, old age, and disease in the heavenly planets. For example, one cannot say that there is birth, death, old age, and disease only in the poorer countries, that only in India there is birth, death, old age, and disease, and that in the richer countries it is not. No, it's not true. Birth, death, old age, and disease are there in whether the country is rich or poor. Similarly, any planet in this material world has the same problem: birth, death, old age, and disease. So it's in our best interest if we can go back home, back to Godhead, to the spiritual world.
Rāmānanda Rāya went on to say that those who have no taste for Krishna consciousness or spiritual life are just like crows who take pleasure in eating the bitter nimba fruit. It is the poetic cuckoo that eats the buds of mango tree. The unfortunate transcendentalists simply speculate on dry philosophy, whereas the transcendentalists who are in love with Radha and Krishna are just like cuckoos enjoying the buds of the mango tree of love of Godhead. Thus, those who are devotees of Radha and Krishna are most fortunate. The bitter nimba fruit is not at all eatable. It is simply full of dry speculation and is fit only for crow-like philosophers. Mango buds, however, are very relishable, and those in the devotional service of Radha and Krishna enjoy them.
So, Rāmānanda Rāya, of course, is saying that bhakti, the path of bhakti, is full of nectar. Mango, so nectarian, so juicy, fills the heart. Feel so good. So the devotees, the pure devotees, they are experiencing this bliss, this sweetness, the nectar, by engaging in Krishna consciousness. Whereas one may just not hear from the scriptures, but just engage in dry philosophy, something we are speaking out of our own mind. So that has no taste, that has no nectar in it. This is what Rāmānanda Rāya is saying. So he's saying if we actually want to enjoy nectar, we want to enjoy the bliss, the happiness, the sweetness, the love, then engage in Krishna consciousness. Because the devotees are enjoying these things. And if we follow them, we can be situated on the same platform.
So that means the crows are compared like to Gyanis, yogis, Gyanis, is it? That's what it's
Yeah, over
trying to
here,
say.
that's right. Yeah, dry speculation,
Okay.
unnecessary argument, like misinterpretation. So it's all on the mental platform. There is no happiness there. There is no love, no bliss, no real transcendental pleasure. Yeah.
And it's a difficult method, right?
I'm sorry.
It's hard. It's hard. It's difficult also, right?
Yeah, it's very difficult. It's more simple that we hear from the authorities and we follow.
Yeah.
It's more simpler, no? Yeah, that's right. What you said.
And so that's why it is so important. We have to rather ask people to read through, try to, get into reading Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, rather than,
That's
discuss. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Because we need to hear from the scriptures to know the truth. Again, it comes to the same thing. We want to become an expert in math. Then what do? We go to a math teacher, right?
Yeah.
What do we want? We are going to the expert. We get a little sick. We want to go to the best doctor, right? I'm going to go to the best doctor. I'm going to go get the best treatment that is there. We do so much research. But when it comes to spirituality, we are like, oh, anything and anyone will do. But no, we should hear from the correct sources. We need to hear from the scriptures, hear from Bhagavatam, hear from Bhagavad Gita, as you rightly said. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. So, anyone, any other comments or questions?
No.
No, we'll stop here. Thank you so much for listening and joining in. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.